All right, guys, so we're at the ending here of our piece, and yeah, you can see that you really need to kind of be a little bit not so tight. And what I want to show you again and remind you once more is that down here, we don't have any crossovers with our warp strings. Up here, we do have the crossovers where you jump from one peg or slot over to the other. So, and you jump on one side, and then you jump on the back side, and then you jump on the front side. So they alternate, right? See? But nothing on the bottom, only on the top are you doing the jumps. So here we are, we're going to come to the very end, and one of the things that I want to remind you is that, for instance, if I have 29 on one side, I need to have 28 on the other side, or 30. In this instance, I think I'm going to have 28 on one side and 29 on the other. But you need to have one side odd and one side even. You cannot have the same number of warp strings on both sides. If you do that, when you go with your weft and you're weaving, you won't be able to create interlocking, where they interlock. You'll just start having them do this. And that's not really, the weft strings cannot be on the same path. They have to crisscross, they have to interlock. And the only way to do that is by having an odd and an even number of warp lines. So let me go ahead and finish up here. And I'm going to come to the front here. And I'm going to jump over to the next peg, go towards the back, then back up the front. Then I'm going to jump over. And now on my last one, on my last slot or last peg, I'm going to come down. And then when I come down here, instead of going back up again, I'm not. I'm going to cut the string right here, and I'm going to go ahead and tape it right here to get it out of the way. And let's go ahead and count. So, what do I have on this back side? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And on the other side, I am going to have 29. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So I have 29 on one side, 28 on the other. And so that you can see what I am talking about, let's go ahead and get some yarn. And we're going to go ahead and do our first weave in there, right? So I've got my yarn. I'm going to start on the side that has the 29, and that's fine. I'll just start right here, 29, and I'm going to go ahead and go over, under, over, under, over, under. All right. And I just want to show you how it is important that you have one side even and one side odd. So here I am. Maybe I have too much weft string. And when I start this off, I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to leave about maybe, 4 fingers of string, right? About 4 fingers of string, so that later on I can weave this back in and hide it. So I started with under the warped string, so I went under, over, all the way, and back here, my last one is under. So when I turn it around, I don't want to do another under. I want to do an over at this point. So here I am, and I'm going to do over, all right? I'm going to go over and then under. Alrighty. may have too much weft string here. Yeah, try not to make it this long. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and remember we got to do this dance of getting our strings down all the way. Okay, so don't get confused with this extra one. So yes, I went let's see, like right here where over, under, and then I'm under. So on this last warp string that's right here, I am under. I am under. Do not concern yourself with this little extra piece that's here. Don't even, just ignore it. You're not going to go under it. It's not considered over. It's just extra string that later on you're going to weave back in when you're done with the bag. So I went under. So when I flip it over, I need to do over, and it needs to be interlocking. So here we go. I've turned it over. And now I am going over. And you can see that if I go over, I am now interlocking with my previous weft yarn. And just to show you, so you see it's interlocking right in here. They are interlocking. Not one is on top of the other. They are interlocking. And that is what we want to achieve. And that is why you need one side even number of warp strings and the other side odd number. It doesn't matter which one is bigger or smaller. See, for instance, here 29, which is odd, is larger than the back side where I have 28 that's even. But it could have been 29, 30. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as you have an odd and even number. So go ahead and for the beginning of this, you want to go ahead and remember that you want to really pack it down and get as much yarn as you can in here. But you're going to go ahead in the beginning, first few rows, just do singular number 4 string, just so that you can have a nice, strong, tight bottom to the handbag. So you want to do a few rows of that, quite a few, before you do anything like doubling or what have you, or using a thicker yarn. So just use your number 4, go across, or I should say go around, weaving a tabby weaving around it a few times till like, about that much, maybe an inch of really compressed weft, just to really get a nice strong beginning bottom piece. Okay.